I know you can spot it in about 2 seconds. The post that could belong to literally any business on the planet. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most of that showed up because somebody thought they were saving time. And in a world where AI is literally flooding every single feed with the same kind of things, hiding the real you is the single most expensive mistake you can make. Welcome to the Business Mountain podcast. I'm Ginny Seeley, business strategist and longtime process improvement expert. My husband Joe and I own an appliance service business and a co-working space, so I know firsthand what it takes to juggle growth, leadership, family, and faith all at once. Every week, we climb together with real-world strategy, smart marketing, and practical tech for service-based business owners. Grab your gear, let's climb. Hello there and welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I've been playing with in my own business lately because I think it's going to change how you feel about the mountain of content that you know you should be posting and just aren't. Here's where I've been living in the past few weeks. I've been playing with something and building out a workflow where I connect Claude, the AI that I use pretty much every single day, directly to my social media scheduler, Metricool. And I want to kind of have you picture what that actually looks like, because when I describe it, you might be tempted to kind of tune it out and get a little nervous about the whole connecting thing and using AI in general. So I'm going to walk you through every single step. First of all, I want you to know that when I do this, I sit down with a piece of content that I already made. And when I coach business owners in the Compound Marketing Machine program, one of the tools in there will help you make this original piece of content. And so you may think, well, if it's generated by AI, it's not original. And you would be right if you just took what it gave you and posted it. But that's not how we work here at Outcome Academy. That's not how I've ever taught somebody to use AI. AI is a fantastic tool, but when you take it and just regurgitate whatever it gives you and put it out there into the world, you're just contributing to what has been nicknamed AI slop. So that is not what this episode is about today. When I start the whole process that I'm going to describe to you today, it starts with what you're listening to right now. A piece of content that I make with my own voice, the podcast episodes that I teach you each week. Oftentimes, I'll come up with a topic that I want to talk about, and sometimes I use Claude to help me think of a good outline so that I'm not bouncing all over the place with my ADHD self. But today, what I'm saying right this very minute is completely unscripted. I know what I want to talk about. I'm recording my original content. I'm teaching from my heart. And then I take that transcript and I use it to help me put together content to post on social media, to make a LinkedIn post, to help me create a summary so that I can introduce you to the content in the newsletter that I put out every week. If you're not getting that, by the way, let me know because you're missing out. The newsletter I put out every single week has super helpful information in it. It has an intro to whatever we have taught in the podcast each week. And then it has something that has happened in the 8,000er program, some kind of personal story about what's going on in my life so that you can get to know me as a human being. All of those things are the most important piece of incorporating AI into how you use it in your business. It all starts with a piece of content, whether you use AI to help you make that original piece of content and then add your heart and soul to it, or if it comes from a recorded piece of content like a YouTube video that you've recorded to educate your people or a podcast episode, whatever that looks like for you. That's the anchor piece. That's what gets this whole thing started. So I take the transcript from my episode, I hand it over to Claude, and in a few minutes, I have a whole batch of social media posts sitting there ready to go. Snippets from what I've taught. So my original content snipped into little pieces ready to go out. Posts that educate, posts that inspire, posts that entertain, and posts that ask somebody to do something like listen to the podcast episode or share something or come visit me at outcomeacademy.com or check out one of my programs. And then with the connection that I set up, These posts are getting pushed straight into my scheduler, which is called Metricool, lined up and waiting. Now, here's the part that super duper matters. I'm sitting there looking at a screen full of finished looking posts. And there's a button that would basically let me say, schedule all of these and just kind of walk away. And I could be done. My coffee could still be hot. My whole afternoon could be open and I could just be chilling and have my whole entire afternoon back if I did that. But that's not what I do. And today I want to talk about why I don't press that and why I don't just let it go out like that. Because that one decision is the entire difference between AI making your marketing better and AI making you sound like everybody else who is cutting corners using AI. So I want to describe what is actually going on out there in the world because you have felt it even if you don't even know exactly the words to it and you can't even put your finger on what it is about a post that makes you know that it's AI generated. You're scrolling along, you're hitting these posts. Technically, they're fine. They get the message across. They're grammatically usually perfect. They're on topic, and they're also completely hollow. There's no personality in them. There's no story. There's no opinion. There's no little human imperfections that let you know that an actual human being sat down and meant something. So you scroll right past them. You don't even feel bad about it because there was literally nothing there to hold you to it. And that's what I really want you to take away today. AI didn't do that. A person did that. A well-meaning, overwhelmed, stretched too thin business owner did that because they were so relieved to finally have something to post because they figure it's better than posting nothing at all, that they skipped the only step that was ever going to make it actually work. Themselves. The human piece, the human element that everybody desperately wants to see in all the posting that's happening right now. This is a pattern that shows up no matter what kind of business you're in. I see it in my co-working groups that I belong to. I see it with service providers. I see it in our community groups where other people are posting about their businesses. I literally see it everywhere. Somebody hears, hey, AI can help you write your posts. And they hear, AI can also do your marketing for you. And they're not the same thing. They're not even close. Because you're not disorganized and you're not lazy. You're drowning. You've got clients to serve, a team to lead, invoices to chase, and somewhere at the very bottom of your list is, oh my gosh, I need to post consistently on social media too. A thing that you know matters and you never quite get to it. So when a tool comes along that promises to just handle it, of course you might be tempted to grab it with both hands. It's very tempting. But when you let that machine post for you instead of with you, that's what you're actually doing. You're taking the one asset that nobody can copy, which is you, your personality, your level of expertise, all of the stories that make you amazing, and you're hiding it behind a wall of generic crap. And in a world where AI is literally flooding every single feed with the same kind of things, hiding the real you is the single most expensive mistake you can make. I almost hate doing this because I hate calling somebody out, but there's somebody that we know and they have caught the AI bug. They are super excited. And actually, I want to give this as a gentle warning because one of the big hot topics in every place that you go, every conference that you go to is, of course, AI. And how we can incorporate it into our businesses and save time and just do all the things, but to the 100th degree, right? Well, one of the people that we know, super intense, I'll just say that about how they've adopted AI. They are using AI to do just about everything and just super excited about it. And so I'm not trying to discourage you from getting excited about AI. I'm excited about it. I love incorporating it into helping us look at our data, helping us with our systems. And I'm going to share today in this podcast the ways that we use it to help us with our social media. But when you start letting AI do things for you and you're not double checking them, it will be embarrassing. And as much as I think this person is an amazing person, I was very sad to see some of the things that they were creating with AI because clearly they're not going in there and checking it and making sure that it's accurate. So the images on the things that they're putting out into the world are not correct. They have errors on them. You know how sometimes AI can create an image with your logo or words and they look like gibberish and they just don't make sense. And when you put things like that out into the world, people are going to judge you and they're going to think that you were lazy. AI is amazing. It does amazing things. It can 10x your work that you're doing in a day. But I want you to think of it as a really great assistant that you still need to supervise. So you would not tell your office staff, all of your assistants that are frontline people, to create things for you that you just put out into the world without ever reviewing it first. So I'm just telling you, as your business coach, please review everything that goes out that you are stamping your precious name and logo and business behind. Please review it. So that's my soapbox for today. Take that first before we dive deep into what you're going to be putting out into social media using the assistance of AI. So here, to sum up everything that I just said, I can sum it up in one quick little sentence. AI drafts for you. You direct. That's it. That's the whole philosophy. The AI is your intern, not your replacement. It's fast. It never gets tired. It will happily take one amazing idea of yours and split it into 30 posts, but it has never met your clients. It doesn't know the story about your kid. It doesn't know the joke that you always make. And it definitely doesn't know what it felt like the day you decided to bet on yourself and start your amazing business. You know all of that. So the AI handles the volume and the blank page, and you handle the voice, the judgment, and the face. Think of it like climbing with the right gear. Good climbing gear carries the load. It makes the climb possible, but the gear doesn't take a single step for you. You still make the climb. You still choose the route. That tool just means you get to spend your energy on the part that actually requires a human being instead of burning it all on setup. And the beautiful thing is, this is not some theoretical setup that only works if you're technical. I've built it into a real, repeatable system, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how it goes so you can picture doing it yourself. So let's walk through it step by step, the way it actually runs in my business. Like I said earlier, it starts with content I already made. This is the part that most people skip, and it's the part that makes the whole entire thing sing. I'm not asking AI to invent marketing out of thin air. I'm handing it something with real substance already in it. For me, that is the podcast transcript. I already did the thinking when I recorded the episode. I already brought the stories, like the one you just heard, the teaching, the point of view. That thinking is sitting right there in the transcript. And it would be a crime to use it exactly once and then let it disappear. So step 1, give the machine your real thinking, not just a blank prompt. Step 2 is where my small business content genius skill comes in. And I also have a custom GPT that does the same exact thing. This is a custom tool that I built. It lives inside of my Compound Marketing Machine program. And what it does is take one long piece of original content and turn it into a batch of social posts. And it does it on purpose across 4 different jobs. Some of the posts educate, so they teach one clear idea from the episode. Some of them inspire, so they can hit an emotional, you can do this note. Some entertain, saying things like, raise your hand if you've ever ABC. Those kind of posts make people smile and tag a friend. And some of them are calls to action, asking people to listen, subscribe, come find me. That mix is not an accident. A feed that only teaches is exhausting and people don't have any direction. They don't know what to do. And a feed that only sells gets muted. So this skill builds that balance in for you. And again, that's a concept I teach in the Compound Marketing Machine program, and it's a skill that is right there in the course materials for that program. And by the way, it's never too late to enroll in that program, even if we already just had a whole cohort of people that went through it live. those recordings are still going to be in there. So you can always enroll in Compound Marketing Machine whenever it feels right for you. And all of that content is going to be in there for you to help you along. Step 3 is the connection I've been so excited about, the Metricool connection. Once those posts exist, Claude pushes them straight into my scheduler called Metricool. So instead of me copying and pasting one at a time into a calendar, and really taking a lot of time, by the way, to do that, they just flow in and line up. So what Metricool does is it allows you to schedule posts in multiple locations all at once. For example, it's connected to Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Business Profile, Instagram, all of those places. So it will schedule posts into all of those places immediately just by a click of a button to send all of those ideas from my Claude chat straight over to Metricool. And then this is the part that I've been talking about this whole entire time, the part I refuse to skip. This is where I earn the trust of the people following me. I read every single post they created, every single one. I go in and I tweak. I find the phrase that is almost right, but not quite how I would actually say it out loud, and then I fix it. I catch the joke that is a little bit too polished. I rough it up so it sounds like me. Sometimes I read a post and say, okay, that sounds good, but the real story is even better, and I'll swap the thing that actually happened this week. The AI gets me about 80% there in a fraction of the time, but that last 20%, the part that makes someone stop scrolling and realize that sounds like Ginny, that part is mine, and it's always going to be mine. That, as somebody who counts on me and listens to my content because you're here at the podcast listening to me, that's a promise that I keep. I'm showing up here. I'm putting in the effort, and AI is not replacing me as your business coach. And then there's the visual piece. And I'm going to tell you about this because it proves kind of the whole point about what I'm saying today. Sometimes I use AI-generated images. I'm not telling you to never use them. But real images beat everything. I don't mean they just beat AI-generated images. They also beat my beautiful Canva template graphics too. The single best post that I had this past week was not one of the designs that I spent time creating. It was a real photo of me and my daughter Logan standing on a scenic overlook here in North Carolina. We both had our NC State shirts on. And so my post was about how she just recently graduated, took a position in our company, and it was talking about what I talked about in the last episode, which was doing our team member reviews and how we evaluate her on all 3 of her roles that she does there. Well, that outperformed all of the polished stuff. So what does that tell you? It tells you people are not connecting with graphics. They're not connecting with perfectly polished things that AI puts together. People want to connect with other people. So when I add visuals to my posts, I try to incorporate real photos of real moments because that's what people want to see. Sometimes I put things together with my branding, of course, because you want your feed to have your branding in it as well. However, make sure that you have real pictures of yourself and your team doing things that you're talking about in the examples that you're sharing on your social media posts. So after all those things have taken place, after it's posted there on my Metricool from Claude, and I've gone in and I've reviewed it, I've put my personal touch to it, and I've put the right pictures to the right posts, only then do I schedule the post. Now, I know that you might be thinking right now, Ginny, that's great, but I don't have a podcast. Stick with me because I want to give you another little way that you can do this without actually doing the whole blog post ahead of time, because you have more raw material than you think. Let's pretend you're a bookkeeper. You don't have a fancy microphone and you have zero desire to get one. Totally fine. But this week, a client called you in a small panic because they thought they owed a scary amount at tax time. And you walked them through this whole thought process about their numbers. You showed them they were actually in good shape. You could practically hear them exhale over the phone. That moment is content. That's a real story with a real feeling in it, and it teaches something that your ideal client needs to hear. So here's your version of the system I just described. You don't need a transcript. You open up Claude and you click the little microphone button and you just talk it through. The way that you would tell a friend what happened, messy, out of order, grammatically incorrect, whatever. That becomes your original content, the raw thinking. Then the same kind of tool I just described takes that story and turns it into a batch. An educate post about why quarterly check-ins keep you from tax time panic. An inspiring post about how it feels to finally understand your own numbers. An entertaining post that says, hey, raise your hand if you've ever been afraid to open your accounting software. A call to action inviting people to book a call with you. Those all get lined up in the scheduler, and then you do the part that's yours. You read every single one, you fix the phrase that isn't quite how you'd say it, and instead of a stock photo of a calculator, you post a real picture of your actual desk with you, with an actual coffee mug, a quick selfie, video. You could do even a video of you saying the same thing in 15 seconds. Same 4 steps. No podcast required. The only non-negotiable is that you stay in the loop. That is the thing I want to really emphasize today. The tools change depending on your business, but the shape never does. Real thinking goes in, and a balanced batch of content comes out. Human on top, real face. Now, let me show you the other version because the entire lesson here today. Picture the person who does steps 1 through 3, and then they press schedule everything, and they close their laptop. What happens? The posts go out technically on time, but they're completely lifeless. Followers can feel the drop in temperature even if they can't name it. Engagement quietly slides, and worst of all, the impression that sticks is, this business feels kind of automated now, which is the exact opposite of what you're going for. They saved 20 minutes, and they spent their trust to do it. That is a terrible trade. The whole system runs on you staying involved. Take the human out, and you don't have a marketing system. You have a slop machine with your name on it. I want to reframe something for you before we land this whole entire expedition, because I think there's some fear under a lot of this. A lot of business owners are quietly scared that using AI makes them a fraud. Like, if the machine helped, it doesn't count, and they should feel guilty. I want to set that straight for you right now. Using AI to draft your content does not make you less authentic. Used the way I just described, it makes you more of yourself, but it allows you to show up more often. Because here's what it actually buys you. It takes the blank page and the busy work piece off your plate, and it hands you the time back so that you have more of yourself left over for the parts that only you can do. The story, the judgment, the real photo, the reply to the comment that actually matters. Time to actually connect in person, in real life, with your clients. Time to go show up at midday mingle for the Chamber of Commerce. Time to connect after BNI for an extra 15 minutes face-to-face with somebody that you meant to catch up with last week but didn't have time to do so. You were never going to scale all of those posts across 30 different places a month. Now you don't have to because that machine cleared the runway. And I really want you to sit with this next part because this is where the whole thing turns. The more AI floods the world with sameness, like what I described with that sweet business owner who was trying to employ AI to the nth degree, but kind of forgot the most important part, checking in. The more of that type of content that is flooded into the world with sameness, the more your real content that you put your time and effort to make really legitimate, your face, your voice, your imperfect true stories about you and your kid on a mountain overlook, that is the one thing on the entire internet that cannot be generated. It gets more valuable every single day that everybody else gets lazier. So the goal was never to sound more like a machine. The goal is to use that machine so that you get to sound more like you at a volume you can never keep up with on your own. That's what good AI use looks like. Not a robot pretending to be you. You amplified with a really fast intern doing the heavy lifting and then you making every final call. AI is not the thing making marketing worse. Skipping yourself is. Let the tool carry the load and then put your fingerprints on every single thing before it goes out the door. If you want that exact skill that I use to turn one episode into a whole batch of balanced posts, that lives inside my Compound Marketing Machine program. I'll drop the link to the scheduler I mentioned, which is Metricool, in the show notes as well, so you can see that set up for yourself. And guess what I did for you? For today, for this episode, my free giveaway is a video I recorded that walks through the exact steps of how to connect that tool to your Claude account so that you can click a button, send all your posts over to Metricool, and so you get 80% of the way there, and then you can just review everything and then schedule your posts. So if you want to know how to do that little trick, go to the download page, find the video that I created, and I also made you a really nice reference sheet that you can download as a PDF. It will walk you through every single step, and then you're going to be ahead of the game, and you'll have time to put your personal touch on everything. I'm super proud of you for showing up in your business. Thank you so much for joining me here on this podcast episode, and I'm super excited about how you're going to use AI to amplify your amazing voice in your area of business expertise. The fact that you're thinking this carefully through and doing it right instead of just doing it fast tells me exactly what kind of business owner you are. Keep climbing, and I'll see you next week. Before you go, here's your next step. Take the free Find Your Camp quiz at outcomeacademy.com/findmycamp. In about 2 minutes, it shows you exactly where you are on the mountain and which path fits you best. Whether that's the 8,000er expedition, the Compound Marketing Machine, or one of our other resources. And if this show is helping you, follow it wherever you listen. Subscribe on YouTube and share it with a business owner who needs it. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'm super grateful for you, and I'll see you in the next episode.